Jeopardy! Player Sam Cameron stinks up the stage during the episode on January 9, 2025. Keep reading to find out why. Sam Cameron, a finance manager from North Dakota, publicly disappointed himself with his performance on Jeopardy! During the Second Chance Finals on January 9th. Cameron, who wanted a strong showing, went on Reddit after the episode aired to apologize for stinking up the stage. In the post, Cameron expressed his regret over the way he played the game, jokingly wishing that no one's cringy moments would be broadcast on national TV the way his were. Sam Cameron's struggles started early in the game. During the Jeopardy! Round, he was on a decent start, but things took a turn when he encountered the Daily Double in the category, all around the U.S. The clue referenced Pikes Peak, the famous landmark in Colorado Springs. Sam Cameron failed to identify Pikes Peak, which cost him $3,800. This mistake cost Cameron by putting him at the bottom of the leaderboard by the end of the Jeopardy! Round. With only $400, Cameron trailed Enzo Cunanan from Florida with $2,400 and Drew Goins from Hawaii with $1,200. In the Double Jeopardy! Round, Cameron didn't get much relief. Goins found the second Daily Double in the category World History and won it, gaining him $2,800 to score. Cameron, still stung by his earlier error, found the third Daily Double but only earned $100. He correctly answered the clue about HBO's Oz, but the wager didn't help his spot on the leaderboard. Fans on Reddit were divided over his wager. Some were surprised by how low it was, while others felt it was a reasonable decision, considering the difficulty of the game's category. By the end of the second round, Cameron remained in a tough spot with only $1,700. He fell far behind Cunanan's $13,600 and Goins' $10.40. However, he managed to make up some ground in Final Jeopardy! The clue in the category Animals in Science asked about the first mammal species sent into space. Both Cameron and Cunanan correctly answered with rhesus monkey, while Goins incorrectly said mouse. Cameron doubled his score now at $3,400, but it wasn't enough to catch up to Cunanan, who finished the round with $21,800. Despite his regrets, Cameron's journey is not over yet. The competition continues, and the two-day score together will determine who advances to the wildcard event. They will join the first Second Chance winner, Will Yancey. Fans will have to wait and see if Cameron can make a comeback and cover more in the next episode. Do you think Sam Cameron can pull it off? Who do you think will win this episode of Jeopardy! Let us know in the comments. Jeopardy! The long-running quiz show that has captivated audiences for decades is no stranger to drama and controversy. While the show is typically associated with intellectual prowess and sharp wit, sometimes it's the decisions made on the stage that spark heated debates. One recent incident involving a contestant's wager caused an uproar among fans, as they felt the player stunk up the stage with a risky move that ultimately backfired. This moment left fans scratching their heads and questioning the strategy behind such a bold wager. The game show's allure lies in its blend of challenging trivia and high-stakes competition. Contestants are tasked with answering a variety of questions across a wide range of categories, and their earnings depend on their ability to provide correct answers. However, it's the Final Jeopardy! Round that often separates the victors from the also-rans, and it's here where players can make critical decisions that either propel them to victory or send them crashing out. The controversial wager in question happened during this high-stakes segment. The wager that shocked fans. It all started with a routine Final Jeopardy! Round. The category was announced, and contestants were given their chance to wager a portion of their winnings. One player, who had been leading for most of the game, made a bold move by betting nearly all of their earnings. The wager, which seemed overly aggressive to many, was seen as an attempt to solidify a win. However, the final answer was more complicated than anticipated, and the contestant ended up getting it wrong. The result? A dramatic drop in the contestant's total earnings, pushing them into third place. The other contestants, who had played more conservatively, ended up in the top two spots, securing the win and leaving the bold wager in the dust. The aftermath was swift and brutal. Fans took to social media platforms like Twitter and Reddit to express their displeasure with the wager. Some call the decision reckless and ill-advised, questioning the player's judgment. Others didn't mince words, accusing the player of stinking up the stage with what they perceived as a poor strategy. The backlash wasn't just about the contestants' failure to win, it was about the audacity of making such a risky move when there was no guarantee of success. The psychology behind wagering on Jeopardy! To understand why this wager caused such a stir, it's essential to consider the psychology of wagering on Jeopardy! The show is unique in that it combines both knowledge and strategy. While answering questions correctly is vital, it's the strategic decisions, especially during Final Jeopardy, that often determine who takes home the big prize. In the Final Jeopardy round, players are faced with a choice: bet conservatively and guarantee themselves a secure place in the rankings, or make a risky wager to try to leap ahead of their competitors. A common strategy is to bet enough to stay ahead of the other contestants, but not so much that a single incorrect answer will erase all progress. This is often referred to as the safe bet. However, some players opt for a high-risk, high-reward strategy. Betting large amounts of money, especially when leading, can be seen as a bold move to make a definitive statement. In this case, the player's decision to wager nearly everything was clearly a calculated risk meant to secure an unassailable lead. Unfortunately for them, this gamble didn't pay off, and the result was a catastrophic failure that changed the outcome of the game. Fans weigh in. Was it the right move? Fans who watched the episode were divided on the decision to bet so much. On one hand, there were those who admired the contestants' confidence and boldness, noting that Jeopardy! Is a game where calculated risks are sometimes necessary. They argued that without daring moves, the game would be less exciting, and that the player's decision added an element of drama to the episode. These supporters pointed out that the player's large lead could have easily made them complacent, and that the gamble was an attempt to ensure a dominant victory. On the other hand, many fans criticized the move as imprudent and overzealous. They argued that the player's lead, while significant, didn't warrant such an all-in wager, especially when the final question was unknown. Some pointed out that the wager could have been a result of a nervous reaction to the pressure of the show stakes. Others questioned whether the player had truly understood the complexities of the Final Jeopardy round, and whether their wager was more of an emotional decision than a strategic one. The fact that the wager failed made it all the more memorable. Fans who had been rooting for the contestant were left disappointed, while those who favored a more cautious approach felt vindicated in their belief that taking unnecessary risks in Jeopardy! Can sometimes lead to disaster. The role of Jeopardy! Fans in shaping contestant strategies. The relationship between contestants and fans is complex. Jeopardy! Fans are deeply invested in the game, and many viewers have developed strong opinions about how contestants should play. For years, Jeopardy! Has had a dedicated following that eagerly watches every episode and debates strategies in online forums. This collective intelligence has helped shape the narrative of the show, with fans dissecting each move, answering each question, and even offering advice to future contestants. In the case of this controversial wager, fans not only criticized the player's decision, but also used it as an opportunity to discuss what they consider the right way to play Jeopardy! There's an underlying expectation among many fans that contestants should approach the game with a sense of strategy and composure, and when someone deviates from that, it stands out. The backlash against the wager reflects the audience's high expectations for contestants, and the way the show often emphasizes intelligence, preparation, and strategic thinking. The legacy of risky wagers on Jeopardy! Interestingly, the drama surrounding this particular wager isn't entirely unprecedented in Jeopardy! History. Throughout the years, there have been several iconic moments where contestants made bold wagers that backfired. Some have become legendary, such as when the infamous contestant Arthur Chu made waves with his unconventional strategies, or when James Holzhauer's aggressive betting style helped him break records. However, while these bold moves often led to victories, they also sparked discussions about the value of risk in a game where knowledge alone doesn't always guarantee success. The incident that unfolded on this particular episode of Jeopardy! Serves as a reminder of just how fragile victory can be. Even with an impressive lead, it only takes one wrong wager to change the entire outcome. For contestants, the gamble is often not just about the money, It's about how they are remembered by fans. Whether it's through their intellectual prowess or their audacity to take risks, the way contestants play the game has lasting implications.